All right, everybody. It's the Combatcast. Man, they call Dave and Chevy, and we're going to give you a little talk about all the combat sports going on. Not a lot going on, but we will talk about what we can. And we'd like to first, of course, Chevy, thank our new sponsor.
Yes, our new sponsor, Game Up, is a hard hydration, thirst-quenching adult beverage with a special blend of electrolytes. Currently comes in a variety pack, 4 great flavors: fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape.
That's right. Only 110 calories, and it's low carb, so enjoy some Game Up and enjoy what we got coming up, Chevy. Tell them about it.
Yep, April 6th, we'll be talking about UFC Fight Night, Allen versus Curtis 2. And then April 13th, we're back with the big pay-per-views, UFC 300, Pereira versus Hill.
Yes.
And then UFC will be taking a break the next week. So April 19th, we'll be talking PFL 2024 regular season, Koreshkov versus Umalatov. Our local fighter, Brennan Ward, will be on that card. Just signed a deal to fight for PFL, and one of my favorite featherweight fighters, Brennan Loughnane, also on that card.
Yeah, nice little card. All right. Well, Chevy, stuff happens in life. You were out snowboarding, having a little fun, so I had to check out this card. Lucky me. So the heavyweight co-main event, Carl Williams dominated Justin Tafa, used a lot of wrestling, took him down, and he won pretty much. I can't remember if they gave a round for Tafa, but it was a dominant performance. Tafa needs to do something about his takedown defense if he wants to continue to progress. The only real note of this was probably to me after the fight. Carl Williams shoots his shot in a big way. He wants to fight Stipe Miocic. You know, I like when you call out normally big opponents, but keep it somewhat realistic, I think. You know, like Stipe's got a foot out the door. He ain't fighting you. So it's just, to me, it's like, I don't know if this was a good call out or not. I mean, if somehow he ended up with it, I guess it's good. And if you didn't have anyone else, but to me, it's like, I could have called somebody else out in the heavyweight division. You might have been able to get a fight with.
He also wanted to do some sort of barbecue cook-off with the fire department, like Stipe's fire department, to like raise money for firefighters. So that's cool, I guess. But
Yeah.
That part is, way more likely than them actually fighting, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Now, in the main event, Rose Namajunas, she wins over Amanda Ribas. Good little fight. Rose, excellent counter striking. It was unanimous decision. She was 49-46 on 2 of the cards, and then 48-47 on the other one. Ribas actually had more strikes, significant strikes, when you look at the stats. But Rose had a little more octagon time and control. I thought it was an interesting fight because I thought Ribas was always in it. I haven't heard anyone say this, but like if you thought Ribas won this fight, it was just one of those fights I just found it difficult to score watching it at times. And then I was listening to Dean Thomas, and he was talking about how some coaches thought that, Ribas won, but he said he thought it very clear that Rose won the fight. So, but nonetheless, great win for Rose. Just to get back in the winner's circle in this new division. And I think the next step for her is either going to be fighting the loser of this main event that we're about to talk about on this week's Fight Night card, or, maybe Macy Barber.
Yeah, that's a good matchup. I know she just fought Fiorot, so that might be a tough sell if Fiorot loses to Erin this weekend.
Right.
But yeah, I think Macy is it's a good step up for Macy. Good progression. Moves the division along as well too. Yeah, so I think that's probably the best way to go.
Right, it keeps both names out there, and one of them is going to get a quality win. So it's just kind of see. And Fiorot would be the problem, but that fight with Fiorot was close too, and she broke her. I think it was one of her pinkies or finger in that fight. So, she said maybe the winner or loser of that fight or Macy Barber. I think Macy's the way to go, like you said. I don't see why you would give the winner should be fighting for a title shot.
Right.
unless you are going Valentina again, which is arguable. And Valentina, by the way, if for some reason she doesn't fight for the title, is another interesting opponent out there for Rose as well. But we'll see. Either way, a lot of movement in his division. So why don't we just get right to this week's Fight Night card? And I really like this main event and co-main event.
Yeah, before we get to that, just shout out on the prelims. Nate Landwehr is fighting Jamal Emmers. Nate Landwehr is an exciting fighter for sure. I'm pretty sure he's an underdog in this, but he'll definitely put up a good fight. And then on the undercard as well, shout out to Chris Weidman is fighting Bruno Silva. Very, very tough fight for him. Bruno Silva, KO artist. If you'll remember, he was doing pretty well against Behera before he got kneed in the face. Weidman's 39 years old. I'm predicting a KO loss in retirement in this one.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt it's an uphill battle. When you're a guy like Chris Weidman, like who's had all these injuries, he's been off on account of all these injuries. He's had some tough knockout losses over the years, but we talked about it. Silva has had some submission losses. Weidman isn't really a submission guy, but he's a wrestling guy, and if he can take you down, there's probably a key to victory here. But more likely, right, he's probably going to get knocked out and caught. That being said, I wish Weidman, I know like you do, really the best of luck. We would
absolutely
could pull off the upset. And, one of the guys for me that when I first started getting seriously into MMA and UFC, Weidman was one of those guys on his way up. I remember watching him, I think it was Mark Munoz, where he stopped him and it was maybe like his second fight I had seen him with, and he was getting ready to fight Anderson Silva. They were talking about this guy's got wrestling, and he can strike a little bit. He could be a problem. And boy, he was. He ended up winning that middleweight championship, and he had a good little run. And so for me personally, like I will be sorry as he wraps up his career. Don't know if that's happening this week, by the way, but there is a good chance he is in Atlantic City, which is, is near his home. So either way, wish this guy the best of luck.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into this co-main event. This is a good matchmaking right here. Vicente Lucque versus Joaquin Buckley.
All right, Lucque. Let's start off with him. He's 22-9-1, 11 KOs, 8 subs, 3 decisions. He's fought a lot of tough competition in the UFC. Performance of the night 4 times. Fight of the night 4 times. So this is a guy who, he's ready to perform, and he's been in there in some tough fights. He's also tied Li Jiling and the Leech there and Thiago Alves for second most knockouts in UFC welterweight division history. So, Lucque is a finisher, but so is Buckley. So is his opponent Buckley here. Buckley 17-6, 12 knockouts, 5 decisions, and also 4 performance bonuses as well. Buckley is a very exciting fighter. I think there's going to be fireworks. Overall, I just think Lucque is a little bit better all around. And I think Lucque is going to probably later in the fight, maybe second round, third round, late second round, third round. I'll go late second round because I think these guys are going to really bring it at each other. I think Lucque is going to take him down and eventually submit him because Lucque has so many more tools. Wouldn't be surprised if it's also not ruling out Buckley could knock him out because Buckley is that kind of exciting fighter. But that's my prediction. Lucque, second round submission.
Yeah, Vicente has only been KO'd once, and I think that's the only way I see Buckley winning. If anyone can KO him a second time, it'll be Buckley, though, for sure. But I'm with you. I'm going to pick Lucque, and also I'm going to pick him by decision. But I think it's going to make it to the end, to round 3. Very, very good matchmaking, though. Should be an exciting fight. Both guys like to go forward. Explosive power, not afraid to take damage. So good matchmaking. All right, let's move on to this main event. Also very good matchmaking. Title eliminator, Erin Blanchfield versus Manon Fiorot.
Yes. Fiorot, on a second here, is 11-1, 6 KOs, 5 decisions, 6-0 in the UFC. And she is tied with Macy Barber and her opponent for the longest the second longest win streak in UFC women's flyweight division history. I gotta imagine Valentina's probably got the longest. Right. Erin Blanchfield, 12-1, TKOs, 4 subs, 6 decisions. Also 6-0 in the UFC, and as we mentioned, tied for the second longest win streak. So both these girls are kind of mirror images here with their records and their accomplishments. Real pick'em fight. I think it's going to be very interesting with Fiorot to see how good that victory over Rose was and how that's going to hold up, because we don't know how great Rose necessarily is at this division. But if she's really great, then that victory is going to really shine and look good, and maybe, she's going to look even more impressive than we expect here. I kind of am leaning towards Blanchfield, though. I feel like she could be a little stronger of the two, and more versatile, like wrestling, jiu-jitsu. I'm going to go Blanchfield. Either way, it's going all 5 rounds, I think. But I'm taking Erin.
Yeah, 2 great up-and-comers for sure. Man, we've spoke on here for a few years now about how high I am on Blanchfield in this division. But the more I see Fiorot fight, I think I've overlooked her previously. The more I think she's a tough matchup for girls in this division. So she has good takedown defense, high fight IQ. She uses her range well, her reach well. If Erin gets inside and can take her down, I think she can keep her down there and finish her. But, as much as I don't want to say it, I think that Fiorot probably stays on her feet. Erin decides she's going to want to strike with her. And we get a decision. And I think Fiorot wins a very close decision. I hope I'm wrong.
Okay, interesting. So we're both I'm actually picking your favorite fighter.
Yeah.
And you're not, but we're both either way, we're predicting the decision. So I think that's one safe bet, as I think both these girls will go all 5 rounds this weekend.
Yep, for sure. And it's a late card too. Main card starts at 10 p.m. Eastern, even though the fight is happening on the East Coast. So this might be a Sunday morning watch for your boys here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's tell me what we got coming up one more time.
All right, April 6th, UFC Fight Night, Allen versus Curtis, 2 good middleweight matchup. And then April 13th, UFC 300, Pereira versus Hill, excellent fight card. And then April 19th, taking a break from the UFC, PFL 2024 regular season, Koreshkov versus Umalatov.
All right, but we are excited coming up with a lot of these fights, especially UFC 300. We're excited about that. We are excited once again that we were brought to you today by Game Up.
If you haven't tried Game Up, then you are missing out. Imagine your favorite seltzer and your favorite sports drink had a baby, but it's way better than that. Each can is 110 calories, low carb, 4.9 ABV. It's a nice light drink that is not light on flavor. Game Up comes in fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape.